Day class, I'm Jude Benedict T. Gargarita, and I'm your teacher for today's lesson. And welcome to our class. But before we proceed to the main topic, let's have a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Guide us to understand and present the lesson well, and also give us wisdom, strength, and knowledge to finish this discussion well. Amen. And before we start, let's have a game that titled 4 Picks 1 Word. And in this game, we need to find the main meaning and get the correct answer. For number 1, I give you 20 seconds to answer that. Okay, for number 1, the answer is choosing. If you get the correct answer, you're very good. For the number 2, okay, I give you 20 seconds again to answer the picture. Alright, for the number 3, the answer is human rights. And for the last number, the answer is freedom. And this game is connected to our topic, which is freedom of a human person. But first, we need to define the freedom. But before that, let's have our objectives. First, define what freedom means. Second, identify and understand the types of freedom. And lastly, understand why we have a freedom. Let's define the freedom. First, freedom is an intrinsic property of a person. The human person is by nature and seeks freedom. Next is experienced through the act of making choice. It is therefore important to a person to exercise caution and prudence. And lastly, is a power to create and define oneself. It is also rooted person, self-determination, and resource and exercise its intellect and free will. Sa madaling salita, ang freedom ay abilidad na magawa ang gusto mong gawin. And meron ditong free will and self-determination para magawa mo yung mga bagay na to. Pero, kapag naabuso naman ng freedom, ito ay pwede mag-lead ng consequences. Next is the kinds of freedom. There are 3 types of freedom, which is physical, psychological, and moral. Let's define the physical freedom. Physical freedom refers to the absence of any physical restraint. The person has the freedom of mobility to go where he or she wants to go. Next is psychological freedom. It's also called freedom of choice. The freedom is free to perform actions that he or she considers right and wise. And lastly, the moral freedom. Moral freedom refers to the using freedom in a manner that upholds human dignity and goodness. Physical freedom, these are the examples: traveling the world, bicycling, and doing sports. In other words, ang physical freedom ay malayang nagagawa ang mga gusto. Like, ganyan nga, nagta-travel. And, madaling salita, ito po yung hindi siya nakagapos. Yun lang po para mas madaling maintindihan ang physical freedom. Next is psychological freedom. Ito po yung choosing a friends, choosing clothes, and choosing what you want to the college. And sa madaling salita po, ito po yung mga pagpili ng mga bagay-bagay. And ito po yung, dito po pumapasok yung free will na pumipili ka ng kaibigan, damit, and yung mga course mo. And lastly, for the kinds of freedom is moral freedom. Dito naman po, parang bukal po sa puso yung pagtulong natin. Like dito po nagpapakita ng pagmamahal, na tulong sa kapwa, like nagbibigay ng mga pagkain. And lastly, outreach program. There are two elements of freedom, which are voluntariness and responsibility. For voluntariness, it refers to the ability of a person to act of his or her own free will and self-determination. Next is responsibility. It refers to the ability of the person being accountable to his or her actions and consequences. And this is the example of voluntariness. Like, naglilinis po sila, bukal po sa puso nila. And for responsibility naman po is yan. And after that, we have a process. But let's review. The three kinds of freedom is physical, psychological, and moral. And the two types of element of freedom is voluntariness and responsibility. Alright, let's start. For number 1, what kind of freedom is refers to the absence of any physical restraint. Okay, let's proceed to number 2. For number 2, it refers to the person being accountable for his or her actions and consequences. For number 3, it refers to the ability of a person to act of his or her own free will and self-determination. For number 4, it is the kind of freedom which are also called freedom of choice, and it is very easy. And lastly, number 5, the examples below are physical freedom, which is not belong. And let's check your answer. For number 1, letter C. For number 2, letter D. For number 3, letter B. For number 4, letter D. And for number 5 is letter B. And that's all. But before, this is the quote of the day. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible, by Audrey Hepburn. And that's all. Thank you.